A very popular motif of symbolic importance that can be found across all forms of literature is rain. It is used to depict feelings of sadness, longing, and reflection, to create a melancholic or contemplative atmosphere in scenes. And yes, that's exactly how it's used in Bleach, the popular manga series written and illustrated by Tite Kubo. But it's also much more. It rained when Masaki Kurosaki was killed. It rained when Rukia was taken back to Soul Society to be executed. It rained when Byakuya was close to death and asked for Ichigo to save the Soul Society. Ichigo's spirit world is literally flooded by rain because of his sorrow, as well as his fear of his hollow powers. Rain is without a doubt a constant symbol throughout the series that represents negative emotions. But is that really it? I mean, that's not that special. Like I said, this motif is used across all forms of literature, and it's not really anything groundbreaking. But here I am making a video on it, because I believe there is much more to how this symbol is used. So for week 2 of Bleach Mondays, we are here to discuss one way that rain is used as a symbol is to signify flashbacks that shed light on the origin of trauma that various characters carry with them. There are 3 distinct examples of this. The 3rd volume of the series is titled Memories in the Rain. This is a mini arc that serves to dig deeper into Ichigo's character and establish his backstory, namely the memories of his mother and how his grief towards her death has plagued him. He is face to face with the Hollow who killed his mother, and they are completely mimicking her appearance, which forces Ichigo to reflect on his past, with the rain serving as a constant backdrop in both the past and the present. In the 16th volume, we get a 4-chapter flashback that serves to dig deeper into Rukia's character and establish her backstory, the death of Kaien and how her grief towards his death has plagued her. This flashback is titled Memories in the Rain Part 2. And of course, at the scene of Kaien's death, it is once again raining. Chapter 181 is titled And the Rain Left Off. This is the finale of the Soul Society arc, and it focuses on both Ichigo and Rukia's closure with regards to their trauma. However, for both of them, things aren't really closed. In Hueco Mundo, Rukia is faced off with the number 9 Espada, whose name I refuse to try and say. Having absorbed Kaien Shiba, he's able to completely mimic his appearance and his abilities, which segues into another backstory for Rukia, where she remembers her first meeting with Kaien. In this flashback, Kaien shares with Rukia his philosophy, which is centered around the idea that all battle comes down to one thing: the heart. True strength comes from the heart, which is born of any bond between 2 people. It is through the heart that one can find the courage to face even the most difficult challenges. Kaien believed that the heart is what gives you the strength to protect those you care about, and that this heart lives on beyond death. It's inherited by the people who we form the heart with. Remembering this gives Rukia the final push to complete closure regarding Kaien's death, as the heart they share lives on within her. And finally, the 60th volume of the series, Everything But the Rain. This is the most important flashback in Bleach, which has a pretty interesting name given how sad the events of the flashback really are. It explains how Ichigo's parents met, which is important because it's one of the few instances in the manga where it's raining in a genuinely positive scene. It explains the origin of Ichigo's hollow powers, the truth behind the death of his mother, the reason why Isshin is in the world of the living, and just overall, it's a pretty depressing flashback, with a constant use of rain throughout. It's even raining in the present as Isshin is giving this history lesson to Ichigo. But its name implies that this story is everything but depressing. It's everything but the rain. This ironic naming is actually very fitting because the information Ichigo receives here might be sad on the outside, but it's exactly what he needed to hear. Ichigo needed to learn the hard, bitter truth of his origin, and because he has a very mature perspective when it comes to these sort of things, he accepts that the past is set in stone. It cannot be changed, and so this information is only only enlightening and motivating. Everything but the rain gives Ichigo the final push to complete closure regarding his mother's death. It gives him what he needs to continue marching forward for the rest of the series. And ultimately, that's my entire point with this video. Rain as a symbol is used negatively mostly on a superficial level. Let's break this down using real-world examples. Rain can have severe negative impacts on both our environment and just general human life. It leads to flooding, it damages crops, it makes it hard for farmers to harvest, it can lead to hypothermia and pneumonia, it can cause power outages by damaging electrical infrastructure, it can even cause air pollution. There are cases where prolonged periods of rain have damaged people's mental health, leading to feelings of anxiety and depression. All of these things are obviously not good, but on the other end of the scale, rain is absolutely necessary for many aspects of life. It's a natural source of water, which sustains plants, animals, and even us humans. It's essential for the growth of crops, for climate regulation, for preventing droughts and wildfires, for cleaning the air by washing pollutants out of the atmosphere. And rain can have a soothing effect on people's mental health, leading to feelings of tranquility and peace. All of these things are obviously good. Everything in this world and in the story of Bleach lies on a spectrum. While something can have very negative effects, it can also have very positive ones. And this is evidenced in the poem 4 Memories in the Rain, the third volume of the series. If I were rain that joins the sky and the earth that otherwise never touch, could I join two hearts as well? It's kinda cool how Orihime's poem in the third volume ties into Kai and Shiba's philosophy that takes place like 240 chapters later, but that's besides the point. In this poem, we see the rain being used in a more positive light. And that's not the only instance. The joining of Ishin and Masaki's hearts, their love at first sight moment, took place when it was raining. Rukia stabbing Ichigo to give him his Soul Reaper powers once again in the Fullbring arc, that takes place during the rain as well. I'm sure there are a few more examples. The ultimate message of Bleach that is outlined at the end of the story is to never stop walking. Despite adversity, despite trauma, despite pain and suffering, never stop walking. That is the conclusion Ichigo comes to in his final battle against Yuhaba. Rain is a symbol for sadness, right? Well, guess what? There will never not be rainy days, and it's impossible for you to live a life without sad days too. They will come, no matter how hard you try to avoid them, but you must never stop walking. You must overcome that sadness, overcome that rain. That is the importance of rain in Bleach.